Hi, I'm Chef Asata with Georgia Organics, and we are living La Vida Okra for National Farm to School Month. Join me and some of my okra-loving friends as we share our okra stories and favorite okra recipes.
My name is Yaza Sarieh, and I'm an intern with Georgia Organics, and my dish is Bamia Zeit. My story of okra begins with the origins of okra, actually. Okra was first discovered and cultivated in northeastern Africa and the Middle East, which is where my family is originally from. The earliest written records of okra actually came from the Spanish Arab scientist Abdul Abbas al-Nabati, who wrote about okra when he was traveling through Egypt. And he described okra as a fruiting vegetable that contained edible seed pods and were often eaten in Egyptian cuisine. Okra flourished in the Middle East, and it eventually spread to other areas of the Eastern world through trade caravans that traveled to Central Asia, Europe, South Asia, or other areas of the world. And it's really interesting because people don't really know that the origins of okra were from the ancient Middle East. This particular dish, Bamia Zeit, it always evokes a very strong memory of my time in Vida, Jordan, visiting my grandparents during the summer. My grandma especially really loved okra, and I wasn't as big of a fan just because it had that kind of slimy, mushy texture. But as I started to get older, I came to really appreciate the dish, and especially the heritage that comes with this dish. Bamia Zeit is sort of the Palestinian variation of okra that my grandma learned from her mother, who learned from her mother, and then who learned from many of my ancestors for hundreds of years. So in that regard, this stew is more than just a dish. It's also a way of preserving history and tradition, especially when Palestinian identity is under threat, and especially for Palestinians who've been living in diaspora and displacement for almost 80 years. It starts to invoke almost a symbol of home when you're eating the dish. And I'm not much of a cook at all, at all. So I think it's fairly easy.
Yaza says the trick to keeping this dish slime-free is just to trim the outer layer of the tip off, like so. But keeping your okra whole and intact so that the insides stay inside. We're gonna cook the okra in about a half a cup of olive oil, saute it briefly, and since we've got about a pint of okra here, we'll do that in 2 bags. Next, we're going to saute the onions until they're tender. Once the onions start to turn translucent, add your garlic cloves whole. Let them cook for a couple of minutes. And now we'll add our tomatoes, a little bit of salt, little pepper, we'll let that cook for a little bit. Let's add a half a cup of water and let that stew down for just a bit. Let's return our okra and let the dish cook together until the okra is nice and tender. We'll give it a stir every now and then just to make sure nothing's sticking. Okay, our okra stew has been cooking for about a half an hour. You can see that the okra pods are nice and tender, actually a little bit on the soft side. And what we tend to think of as slime from the okra actually has helped thicken up the stew to give it a lovely body. Okay, we're gonna finish this with a little bit of fresh lemon juice and some chopped cilantro. Okay, and we can serve this with some rice or even some pita bread. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you check out these links and resources and keep living La Vida Okra. Hey, B.